Eva, we're rolling.
Hi, health-oriented people. I'm Eva Motion, the host of the show What the Health Are You Talking About? When someone told me that they were vegans, I thought, oh gosh, it is so unhealthy. Where do they get protein, which is extremely vital for the body? Very unexpectedly, I became vegan. I was surprised how mistaken I was at the fact that your body can feel absolutely fine and even more energetic without meat origin food. After that, I traveled on many different food journeys, which I'm still continuing, but being vegan has changed my world. The call to vegan is the subject of the show today. I'm excited to interview a person who at age 7 decided to become a vegetarian. Afterwards, she gradually transitioned to vegan. Now she dedicates her life to help people lose weight and be healthier by introducing a plant-based eating. Taylor Stanley is my amazing guest today. Hello, Taylor. I'm so excited to have you today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's my pleasure. Taylor, I cannot imagine a 7-year-old girl tells her mom that she doesn't want to eat meat. How it's possible?
Yeah, so my mom actually is a vegetarian and she tried to raise me that way, but the doctor said absolutely not. She must eat meat. So I was fed meat from the time that I was eating solid food up until I was 7. And I was always like really interested in the food I was eating, and on the way to my grandma's house we always passed these cow farms where there are a lot of pigs and cows, and I of course loved the animals and started asking questions, and then I put 2 and 2 together and realized that that was the hamburger and the ribs and everything I was eating, and so I just proclaimed one day that I was no longer going to eat meat.
That's
and
amazing.
Yeah, and my mom was still concerned from the doctor, and so she kept trying to feed me chicken and different kinds of meat, and I didn't eat it from then on.
You've mentioned you were considered as a weird kid.
Yes, very weird.
What did you think about your choice? Like, what was in this little cute head?
Yeah, well, I love animals, so it was mainly like just because I liked the animals, and then I think it was out of habit, and it just, after I stopped eating it, it didn't really look appealing to me anymore, so it was kind of easy for me, but yeah, everyone thought I was very bizarre, and a lot of other parents were like, well, what am I supposed to feed you? You know, everyone was eating meat for a lot of their meals. So yeah, it was definitely not normal.
And what did you eat?
I ate a lot. Actually, I was fed a lot of dairy and yogurt and tofu, which are things that I don't eat anymore, but that's what I ate growing up because my mom, you know, was kind of doing her best to feed a kid the way that I wanted to be fed.
And I would like to hear your story about your weight gain. What was the cause of that?
Yeah, so in college, I went to UCLA, and it's built on a hill, so you're constantly walking. You're walking at least a mile uphill to class every day. So, you know, you can kind of eat whatever you want. And once I graduated and got a regular desk job, those bad habits followed with, and it was then that I just started kind of packing on the pounds. I was also living in San Francisco for a short period where it was so gloomy, and I just was really frustrated with how I looked and felt, and yeah, started looking more into what I was eating.
Those bad habits, what kind of habits?
So I'd eat a lot of like pizza, and I was snacking a bunch. So I wasn't really, I wasn't eating so many or like proper meals and focusing on nutrients. It was kind of just like grabbing whatever I could. And at the break room, I was constantly grabbing like trail mix and other processed foods.
How many pounds did you gain?
It was around like 10 to 15 pounds, so in between there, and I gained no muscle. And it was just really uncomfortable for my frame, and I didn't want to be struggling with my weight and with food for the rest of my life, so I decided I was going to figure it out at a young age and figure out how it was best to eat for my body, and then take those habits with me and not have to struggle.
What did you change to get your body and energy back?
Yeah, it was a long process. I changed pretty much everything from the way I looked at food to the way that I ate and how I ordered out at restaurants and when I traveled. And I drank a lot more water and focused more on detoxing kind of in the earlier part of the day with lots of lemon and the foods as well.
How did you know all that?
Yeah, so I started doing a lot of research and just looking into how different people ate, and when things like certain people, what they said would click, and I liked hearing what they had to say and it felt right, so I would try it out, and I started eating a lot more fruit and a lot less processed foods, less processed sugar, and I just felt so much better instantly,
Absolutely, yes,
instantly
sure,
almost,
yeah.
yeah. And then it was kind of just going from there.
And tell us about your transition from vegetarian to vegan.
Yeah, so I thought it would be really easy, and it was kind of the same time I also stopped drinking coffee. I just decided, okay, let me see if I can get through the day without coffee, because I was really addicted. I loved espresso. It was like, I think I had like 3 double espressos a day. And so I just started getting myself off coffee, and at the same time going vegan, and I thought it'd be very simple, but it was much more challenging because I was still eating. I still ate, when I was a vegetarian, a little bit of fish, and then one day it didn't look good to me anymore, and I ate so much dairy that I didn't really realize that I was eating, and so that was hard to completely take out and kind of retrain my brain and how I was supposed to eat, what I would buy at the grocery store and at different restaurants. Those are the hardest for me.
What kind of food did you miss the most?
I loved cheese.
Okay.
And I've tried, like, vegan cheese is good still, but I don't even really eat it much. I think it's like once I was done with real cheese, I let it go.
No other substitution for the real cheese.
Exactly.
What is your favorite food?
I love veggie sushi.
Veggie sushi. Okay.
Yes, I love it.
Do you make it?
Yeah, I do make it at home. It's a really good lunch or dinner and really easy. And
it's not a big deal to be a vegan at home. But
yeah.
How about your social life? How do you handle that?
Yeah, it was very challenging because like I said, I would look at menus and I just wasn't sure what to order or how to stay full, because when you're making the transition, you also have to get used to a different kind of full. So, filling up on lots of like breads and cheese you'll feel very like full and bloated. And then going vegan, I also stopped eating gluten around the same time. I didn't have that same full feeling, so I had to train myself that, okay, even though it's not this bloated, I'm still full. But usually restaurants are really accommodating. They have a lot of options now, and they'll work with you. I used to order a lot of potatoes and salads and wraps and stuff like that.
How do people react that you're vegan?
I think everyone's so used to it now, but
especially here in California.
But my family, funny enough, my mom, who's, like I said, is vegetarian, she was very against me going vegan. She thought it was very bizarre and just didn't think it was a good decision for me. So that it was a tough pill for her to swallow, but everyone else seems to be fine with it or look at me a little bit weird, but I'm kind of used to it by now.
The most common question, where do you get your protein?
Everywhere. I eat lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, quinoa, I eat rice, millet. So there's protein in all of these foods, and if you're eating enough calories per day and getting enough nutrients across the board, the protein just comes with it. It's actually very easy to get enough protein. When you look at an adult's diet who's eating enough calories, very few people aren't getting enough protein.
But what is the #1 source of protein for vegans?
I would say things like quinoa if you want to get it like packed in, or you can use pea protein, things like that.
How about artificial protein?
Yeah, I tend to stay away from anything I don't like things in packages. I know that sounds very bizarre.
That sounds very healthy, to be honest.
And I love the whole farm to table thing. So I'm not so into those protein powders. Some of them are actually really good if they just have like 1 or 2 ingredients and no added chemicals. And things like that. So yeah, it really depends on the protein powder.
After your success being a vegan, you decided to share your experience.
Definitely.
And you created a program, Skinny for Good.
Yes.
And tell us about that.
So it took me a few years actually to make the transition, and I was like, if this is so hard for me, who was a vegetarian my whole life, it must be really difficult for the people who are trying to eat more plant-based or go completely vegan. Some people I work with still will eat meat or dairy. Occasionally, I ask them not to do it every single day, but they still incorporate it into their diets. And I just really wanted to help women. Like I said, I struggled to lose that weight after college. It was really tough for me, and yeah, I didn't want other women to have to go through the same thing, and I wanted them to be able to learn an easy way where you're not having to count calories or restrict how much you're eating. I'm a huge foodie. I love to eat, and I eat like big portions, so I wanted to share how, how I made the transition.
Yeah, to look good, to be skinny, and to eat as much as you want.
Exactly.
And we have a video of you.
Wherever you are in your health and weight loss journey, start with your morning routine. This is the most important time of the day, as many have said for years and years. And I go beyond just breakfast, but the whole routine that you have in the morning will set you up for the rest of the day. I recommend starting with 2 glasses of room temperature water and add some lemon in there for the extra detoxing benefits. And then wait until your body is hungry. Don't just eat immediately upon waking simply because you feel you need to. If you aren't hungry first thing in the morning, don't eat. Never eat when you're not hungry. And I actually recommend giving your body a little bit of time to continue that detox process, because your body has been fasting for a good 8 to 10 hours, maybe a little bit more, depending on what time you stopped eating the night before. So give it enough time to really reset and clear the body of everything it was digesting the day before, and then eat breakfast. And make sure breakfast is something light and healthy and simple. I love green smoothies with a bunch of different fruits and vegetables, some apple and pear. I add even more lemon in there, bananas, spinach, making sure that you get enough fiber and your greens as well, so that your body is getting all the nutrients it needs and you won't be hungry. It'll satisfy you. As long as you make enough of the smoothie, you'll be satisfied for a good 3 to 4 hours. So that is your Skinny for Good tip of the day. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you next time.
Thank you so much for such a nice tip. And I do fasting all the time, at least 12 hours. What about you?
I probably stop eating, or I definitely stop eating before 8, and then probably eat again around like 9 in the morning, maybe 10, depending on how hungry I am. I just like to drink water and have lemon first thing in the morning, and then I find that my body is like hungry about an hour, hour and a half after that.
The interesting thing about your Skinny for Good is you don't only have comprehensive program for nutritional guidance or workout exercises, but also you give some plan how to treat eczema. Why eczema, and how did you come up with that?
Yeah, so I've actually known a lot of people to have autoimmune diseases. I had a really good friend throughout college. She just struggled with a bunch of them, and she went from doctor to doctor, and then throughout my life, just close people to me have kind of had similar situations. There's around, I think, 50 million people in the US alone have autoimmune diseases today. And I realized that it was just this growing epidemic, and it makes sense, obviously, that food has a lot to do with it. And my boyfriend actually started getting a little bit of eczema, and other friends had similar things. So I did a bunch of research, and actually we went to the dermatologist. They give you creams and a bunch of pills, and it does close to nothing. And so I did a bunch of research, figured out what to do, and started helping heal some friends and him through the inside out.
What is the #1 immune food that you recommend people to eat to keep their immune system strong?
I actually it's not necessarily a food, it's called colloidal silver, and it's great. It boosts the immune system. You can also, I also like spinach a lot. Flax seeds help with inflammation. Sprouts are another favorite food, and they're just really easy to put on top of salads or burgers, things like that.
How people can benefit of being vegan?
Yeah, I think eating just a more plant-based diet gets you away from dairy, which our bodies don't digest so easily, and things kind of get clogged inside our systems. And when that happens, lots of toxins are given off because our bodies are really hot on the inside, right? 98.6 degrees. So When you stay away from dairy, things start working better and your body can actually heal. And then less processed foods in general and gluten. I feel like when you're eating more fruits and vegetables, your body kind of can reset itself and yeah, really give you the health and body that you want.
And you experience all that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And much more energy now.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Yes.
Your energy is your life source. Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
definitely.
I have some special set questions for you.
Okay.
But before that, I would like to cut to our action time sequence. Today, Taylor will show me some exercises from her program, Tight and Toned, and I'm looking forward to experience them. What I'm going to do?
Okay, so the first exercise, you're going to keep your feet together, lift your right leg up. You're gonna have to balance. This is a lot of like balance
That's
forward.
a lot of balance.
And then straight back.
Like this.
And then come back up. And back. And you can even do a couple
Poses.
yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and you feel your whole leg, including the core.
Exactly.
The exercise number 2.
Okay, exercise number 2, we're gonna get down on the floor. And I call this the spider. I know other people have different names, but you're gonna bend your elbows slightly and bring your, knee up to touch. And you can even add a couple mountain climbers in there if you want, just to get your heart rate up.
I always want to get my heart rate up. Yeah. You feel your lower body, your upper body, and a little bit core.
Exactly. Number 3. Okay, so it's gonna be a jump, so we're gonna jump from side to side, and it's gonna be jump and then curtsy lunge.
And you want me to touch
Exactly.
the floor?
Beautiful. And again, your heart rate, and then this is lower body and a little bit of the core stability.
Yes, see, I'm out of breath.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You just need your body and a little bit energy. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our action time, and now my special questions. Pick one, oranges or tangerines?
Oranges.
Upper body or lower body workout?
Lower body.
Kale or spinach?
Spinach.
Spicy or sweet?
Spicy.
Movies or books?
Both. Different times.
Tulips or daffodils?
Tulips.
I'm vegan because
Because I feel a lot better and look better because of it as well.
if I had a chance to do something for the vegan community, I would.
What would I do? It's a good question. I think I would just take away the kind of like weird stereotype of vegans. Most people are like, oh, you know, think they're a bit odd, but it's more just kind of getting back to our roots of farming and eating food that's just, you know, grown straight from the ground instead of made other ways.
Okay, great. I wish people knew that being vegan.
Is a lot easier than you would think.
Yeah, that's so true. I went through this. Yeah, I agree with you. In closing, what would you recommend our audience?
I would say start with breakfast. The morning ritual is the most important. So wake up, have some water to flush out your system. Again, you've been fasting for quite some time. So reset your body and then have something start. I like to have smoothies in the morning. They'll give you a lot of energy.
Boost you,
yeah, and they fill you up. So it's a good way to like pack in a bunch of nutrients first thing and get you going for the rest of the day. And you're setting up good habits. So, you know, next you can focus on lunch, maybe improve that, change some things out and go from there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank
Taylor.
you so much.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy the call to vegan. We have a lot of stereotypes about vegan food, and we might not give our body a chance to experience a new way of eating and possibly a new way of feeling. I'm Eva Motion. This is the show, What the Health Are You Talking About? Be open-minded, move forward, and stay healthy.